Hey, good afternoon and welcome. We are always excited to have this day. It's bittersweet. It's one of those opportunities where we get to say congratulations. We know that the next steps are going to be exciting for each of us, but also say we're extremely sad about every one of you moving on to those next phases of your life, your career, your retirement, whatever that might be. I know some of you extremely well. Some of you I don't know as well. What I know really crystal clear is the impact every single person in this room has had in the Cedar Falls Community School District. There's over 350 years of experience that we're honoring and recognizing from the people in this room, and that is amazing. Thank you. That legacy, the legacy that you have had, the legacy that you have provided, guidance and supports and help for colleagues and students, is a legacy that will live on for generations to come, and we can't say thank you enough for what that has done for our community as our school district. I do know, not many things, but I do know you're not here to listen to me speak, so I do know that. Kind of the order and the framework of what we do is I will have either the administrator or the supervisor that will come forward. We'll say a few words about each of our retirees or service recognition individuals. As they talk about you, please come forward. We have a bag of different treats and goodies. One of them is a memento of a clock that just says thank you for your years of service. There's some other cards in there and some other components in there. Again, just to show our appreciation, even though we know we can't express that to the depth that we wish we could, as a sincere thank you for everything you do and have done, again, for our district. So without further ado, I'd like to have Eric Rosford. Come on up.
Very good, thank you. All right, well, it is my honor and privilege to talk about Lisa Johnson today. She has served our district for the last 25 years and 32 overall. Nothing I can say today can do justice to the amazing career and impact that she's had on educators and kids within our district. And so we're so thankful for her and her impact. And what many of you probably don't know is that this was very close to a speech last year, and I about said 31. We talked her into one more. She took the bait, and we're so thankful because of just the amazing impact that she's had. I committed this year to not trying to get it to be 33 and 26 because she has just amazing adventures planned ahead. And so I'm excited to share just a little bit about her career and some of the impact that she's had in the last 3 decades of education, serving our students, serving our teachers, and it's just truly tremendous. So when I thought about Lisa, she is somebody who's just a learner and a researcher and a developer, and she just doesn't take shortcuts when it comes to doing things the right way. Her educational, what I call family tree, is beyond measure. Just to give you an idea, so Lisa has served as both a teacher, an instructional coach, and a PD curriculum development leader in our district. And just this year alone, we had 34 first or second year teachers that she had an impact on. And she charges herself with making sure that all of those teachers are supported in our district and for our kids. And the impact that she has is just immeasurable. And so that's the great thing about Lisa is most of you in here probably know who she is because of her wide impact. While I haven't had a chance to work with Lisa as a classroom teacher, I have worked with her extremely closely the last 7 years. I came to Holmes and she was an instructional coach. And I read some really great things about her in her personnel files, and so I want to give a quote just to preempt her as an instructional coach, and this was from Dave Welter. He said, "Lisa's active involvement in professional development reflects her love of learning and the challenges of implementing new and effective learning strategies. Lisa has consistently sought out learning opportunities and in turn shared those experiences with students and colleagues through many IPI, UNI Field Experience students, and Hartman Reserve. Lisa consistently goes above and beyond, and he is thankful for all she did. And that is a tip of an iceberg of Lisa Johnson. What we all know about Lisa is that her impact extends beyond the classroom. She takes things on and takes the bull by the horns. We just talked about it today. She organizes things like Hartman Reserve trips for students, or amazing opportunities for kids that are just incredible. A few things that some people from the mentoring program have said. When asked about the strengths of the mentoring program, one teacher said, "I believe the strength of the program are Lisa and Amy. I enjoy getting to learn from amazing humans who truly want to help young teachers and grow." Another teacher said, "The accessibility to resources of support from these teachers and various staff members, the connections were established because of the mentoring, Amy and Lisa's efforts in the teaching experience." A mentor noted, "We are giving intentional support to our new teachers to help them grow into their own best selves." And so these are just a few things that embody who Lisa Johnson is and what she wants for our kids and our teachers in Cedar Falls schools. So I'm going to close on just a couple of things. Lisa's next steps is a new adventure, and her goal is to have new adventures and share them with her grandkids. She's already started this. She just showed me some pictures where she was going 30 miles an hour on a mountain bike with a little electric assist, and so I'm so excited for her adventures. I'm excited for her to be able to share this with her grandkids, and I'm quite positive she's going to pull Doug along on a few of those as well. So Lisa, we're thankful for you. We're humbled at your amazing career, and so thank you for all that you've provided for our kids.
Up next is Pansy.
So I have the honor today to say a few words about Kim Cross. I've known Kim for several years now. We took actually some of our master's level classes together at UNI, so that's the first time that we met. When I looked through Kim's file, it said that Kim actually started teaching at the time. Some of you may remember this, when you used to get the Des Moines Register every Sunday and look through the ads. I mean, you kind of rushed to see what the Des Moines Register had. So Kim actually, it was verified in the cover letter that she actually saw the ad for the Cedar Falls job in the Des Moines Register. And so she applied for it in June that year. In 1984, she started teaching at Hanson Elementary, and she taught until 1988. And then decided to move back to California for a year. And then in 1989, for some reason, I don't know if Chris can tell us any reason why she might want to move back to Cedar Falls, but she came back to Cedar Falls, Iowa at that time, and she came back to Hanson. And she taught there till 98. And then she decided she wanted to take on the role of an administrator. And she went to Dike New Hartford at the New Hartford Middle School or campus at that point. And then Cedar Falls called her back in 2001, and she became a half-time principal at Lincoln Elementary. And then she went on to Orchard Hill in 2000, well, I think I may have this wrong. Nope, 2007 she went to Orchard Hill. 2014 we asked Kim to go to Southdale, which she graciously accepted. And in 2018, she actually went to Aldrich Elementary and opened up the new school there. She actually started working on it before that time. So as you can see, Kim has been to 5 of our elementary schools. And we'd like to invite her to come back, and she can sub at Cedar Heights and North Cedar. So she But when I was looking through Kim's file, I found a letter that had been sent to Claire Brooks at the time, the personnel director, and it was dated 1985. And it says, "Ms. Cross has been outstanding in the tradition of the very best in professional education. She is the best natural teacher, and I have known since I was in elementary school. She has all the bright instincts for balancing discipline, expectation, performance, and fun. She also seems to know instinctively how to relate to her students, what they are capable of, and what they need to keep them interested. She is a real jewel, and I feel compelled to write and tell you. I hope she has a long career in our chosen profession because she has a lot to offer great many students in her life. We are lucky to have Miss Cross in Cedar Falls. That was in 1985. So when he talks about the long career, here she is, still in Cedar Falls. I worked with Kim for several years. Kim is the ultimate of professionalism. We call her our historian or mothership at the elementary administrator meetings because she can kind of guide the ship, and she has all the history that you can imagine about Cedar Falls. I've been blessed to work with Kim as long as others have too. Congratulations.
Up next is Jason Whitaker.
Thank you. I'm going to go a little bit out of order. I'm just going to flip the two. I'm going to start with Tracy. Again, the honor and privilege to speak on two people who are, they've served 53 years in our counseling department alone. That's a lot of knowledge that's leaving our building in that particular department next year. But Tracy started in August of 1999 and has 24 years with us at the end of this school year. And the thing I think everybody understands about the high school is there's not many people that Tracy doesn't come in contact with. She works with everybody from sending out grade reports. Everybody has grades, everybody gets a report. She has to work with the teachers on making sure that everything is up to date. She has to work with transcripts. She has to work with things that everybody cares about, specifically within the high school level when it comes there. And so from those tasks, she has dominated them. She's very consistent in doing that. Having said that, she also has the other responsibilities like writing out the passes, making sure that the students are coming, meeting with their counselors at the appropriate times, and all of those routine things are what her position does. The part that sets her apart is, I think, the caring personality that she demonstrates on a daily basis. Sometimes that's a word of encouragement, sometimes that's handing out a Kleenex, and sometimes that's just tough love. And I think she does all three of those things extremely well. She doesn't demonstrate the patience with me all that much, but with other people, she's extremely kind in the process. So I thank her that she holds me accountable, and she enjoys that piece. She does go the extra mile, and I think that's noted. When she's parked out with her chair in the hallway, making sure that they are, everybody can see where a student is going, where they're going beyond the walls of our building. And those are the kind of things that the students recognize and pay attention to, and that's kind of the extra mile that Tracy always demonstrates. So thank you for your many years of service, Tracy. Her partner in crime, Susan Langen. Susan started in Cedar Falls in August of 1992. She is completing her 40th year in education. 31 of those are in Cedar Falls. 29 of those are at Cedar Falls High School in her current position. So she, in 92 to 94, she was at Hanson Elementary, and then since 1994, she's been at the high school. I would better coin the phrase as Susan Legacy Langen, because I think the biggest part of Susan is she is a legend in our state, and I don't think there's many school counselors in the state of Iowa who wouldn't know who Susan Langen is because of the amount of contact or leadership that she's demonstrated. Our district has benefited from that, our state has benefited from that, and I think it's pretty impressive when she can go anywhere and people recognize Cedar Falls High School, our counseling department, and a large part of that is due to Susan. Susan is a champion and an advocate for all school counselors, but she's also a champion and advocate for all underserved populations. And if there was somebody who needed worth and value, Susan was the one who stepped up in those roles to make sure that they were represented, that they had a champion and somebody could speak on their behalf. And that's something that she has done remarkably well and consistently. And I would also say that Susan is a champion workhorse. And I don't know if workhorse is the most appealing term, but it's the work that she does to make things happen. And I think everybody's going to recognize that next year, because how did that get done? Susan was doing it behind the scenes. And I think that's the epitome of Susan Lang. So thank you for all of your work for our district and your profession. And one last piece I would say is, if you want to know about her advocacy, refer to her term as guidance. and then turn and run. She's been a strong advocate for professional school counseling or school counseling and the role of how her position and her team's position serves our students. So thank you, Susan.
So I keep seeing the Cheerios eaten in the front row, and I keep getting hungrier and hungrier. No, I'm good, thank you. Up next is Tyler Owen.
Are they throwing them at you?
No.
I wouldn't mind catching one. I'm here to talk about our 5th grade teacher at Cedar Heights, Kelly Evans. I'd love to say I looked at her personnel file and everything was redacted, but first year administrator, I didn't know we look at personnel files for this thing, but I learned next retiring teacher I will look at that. So I did sit down with Kelly. We got the calculator out. We figured out how many years she's taught where. So here we go. She started teaching in San Antonio, Texas for 2 years in 2nd grade. I'm a former 2nd grade teacher. It's the best grade. Great place to start, Kelly. She taught for 4 years in 2nd grade in Fort Lauderdale. Then she made her way back to Cedar Falls. Subbed for a year here in Cedar Falls. She taught 3rd grade at Valley Park Elementary for 1 year. And then she has taught 5th or 6th grade since the 1995-1996 school year at Cedar Heights Elementary. Fun fact that her husband Nick provided is he also RSVP'd yes for this for her as she was trying to escape this, but I'm glad you're here, Kelly. He told me that this will be the last year in a total of around 60 years that someone in Kelly's family has worked for Cedar Falls Schools, and 50 of those years are combined at Cedar Heights. Kelly's mom, Mary Jo Dirks, worked in the district for 30 years and was the school secretary at Cedar Heights for most of those years. And Kelly and her actually overlapped a little bit for those years at Cedar Heights. Kelly has made a positive impact on so many lives during her years of teaching, especially her time here in Cedar Falls. Each year, Kelly has built strong relationships with students who knew she cared about them and their learning. I constantly hear from former students about how much of an impact Mrs. Evans made on them during their year at Cedar Heights. As one of her former students, I know firsthand how much she can impact a student's life. I had Kelly as my 6th grade teacher 22 years ago, and I still remember thinking we were the only 2 Miami Dolphins fans in the state of Iowa. She taught me some very important values through safety patrol. I did receive 2 demerits. It has come up numerous times this year, so I'm in charge now. She has received 0 demerits this year. And I still remember her as 5th graders reading these amazing books to us. And I've never been an avid reader, but that 5th grade year, I think I read more books than I have in my entire life. Mrs. Evans is just a high quality educator. And there's not too many people who can say they attended Cedar Falls Schools K through 12 and then worked for 25 plus years here in this district. She has been so committed to Cedar Falls, and we're going to miss her very much, but you enjoy your well-deserved retirement, Kelly. Thank you.
Up next is Allison and Anna.
Hello. I asked some of my employees some words that they can describe Carolyn, or as we like to call her in the kitchen, Scooby. Actually, the high school today was, you're gonna ruin the surprise, was signing the card and they didn't know who Carolyn Scooby was. They know her by Scooby, and so did the students that go to homes too. And some of the words though that her fellow coworkers said was, some of them I can't repeat and some I can, helpful and an all-around girl. And these are the words that they use to describe her, and she already did that, sorry. Whether it is helping the kids to make sure that they have the correct portions on their plates, or helping them get their Olive Garden, you're very helpful with the students, and also helpful when she goes from her work station to, and then she also helps everyone else in the kitchen, which is very nice, and it doesn't have to be asked, just goes where she's needed. You started out subbing for 10 years before she took her position out at Holmes, and I've known her for the last 5 of her 10 years at Holmes that she's been there. Being an all-around girl includes not only her work ethic, which is hard to find nowadays, but her kindness and humor will be sorely missed in our kitchen. So thanks, Scooby, for the last 10 years.
I said appropriate things.
Up next is Mr. George.
Tough to apologize in advance. I'm a little distracted because, as you can tell by my appearance, I'm mostly concerned about who's going to feed me next year. I'm not sure how that's going to happen.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Probably just put me on a diet would be the most helpful. You guys could help with that. But it's my privilege and pleasure to talk about and honor Mr. John Greider today from Holmes Junior High School. Mr. Greider has been a peer educator for us for the past 12 years. He came to Holmes in 2011 after retiring from his first job of 27 years as a Social Security manager with the Social Security Administration. I don't know about the rest of you, but spending 12 years at a junior high school after retiring is not really what I would probably consider retirement. When John and I were talking, he actually said that the plan was initially for him to substitute teach for maybe a year or two after he had retired. Mr. Welter, who was the principal at Holmes at the time, went and had a conversation with Mr. Greider and convinced him that the better position would be as a para-educator. Again, I'm not sure how he sold you on that, but apparently he did.
It was right across the street.
But he was planning 1 or 2 years. 12 years later, he was still in the position. And that, I asked him, why? Why did you spend that long? And he simply said to me, because I thoroughly enjoyed it every single one of those years. And I think that probably says everything that you can say about John. When I think about John, he's just one of those people who's a rock, dependable, reliable. He was typically the paraeducator that we knew was going to get the toughest assignment each year, and he showed up and did the best job that he could with all of those students, trying to make a difference for each one of them every single day. And that is who John Greider really is. Talked to him a little bit about his plans. He said Holmes is a special place. His own 2 sons went to school there. He and his wife are very involved in the atmosphere and the culture and the climate of the building while they went to school there. But he's also excited. Cynthia, also his wife, retired from our district a couple of years ago. So finally, they can both enjoy retirement together mainly, and they're planning to travel around the country and visit they have 2 grandsons now, one that's in the Kansas City area and one that is local, so looking forward to spending some time that way. Couldn't be more excited for John to actually retire at this time and not come back. But he does live just across the street, so if he's still interested in subbing or coming back, he's certainly Holmes, I closed the door on him for sure in that
You
capacity.
can come work in the lunchroom.
Yeah. A lot of fun down there. It's a lot of fun down there. But
I'm not following that.
congratulations, John. I can't say enough great things about you and the work that you've done for our students over these past 12 years.
Up next is Jamie Woodett.
Okay, so I get to speak about 3. I'm ripping things up here. Sorry about that, Ramsey. Okay, so 3 individuals, amazing individuals individuals at North Cedar. We'll start with Joni Krejci. I'm a mover, so I'm gonna move around. So Joni has taught a total of 26 years, 2 years at St. Jude of the Lake in Minnesota, 14 years at St. Pat's in Cedar Falls with some of you here, where her husband attended school, and 12 years at North Cedar, where she went to school. Throughout the 26 years, Joni has taught preschool, first grade, second grade, keep going with me, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade. She's not scared much, I'll tell you what. Joni had a tough time pinpointing just one favorite memory over the 26 years of teaching. So she decided to go with a recent favorite. She was walking into the building and noticed a little girl crying. Joni helped her into the building and invited her into her classroom. She had complications with her sister that morning, which you don't know this, that happens a whole lot with those two. So Joni helped talk her through what happened and prep her for a successful day. Joni walked the girl to her classroom and told her, I didn't know it was that funny, you guys. Told her she hoped she felt better. Later that day, Joni found a note on her desk from a little girl. It said, "Dear Mrs. Krejci, thank you for helping me. I appreciate you a lot. I really hope you can be my sixth grade teacher." She's going to be really sad. I feel better. I hope you've had a good day. Now every time Joni and the little girl see each other, they share a smile in the hallway. Throughout those 26 years, Joni has built hundreds of relationships, which is one of her many strengths. Joni sees the good in our kids and values their strengths. She trusts students with big responsibilities and works hard to help them build independence as they round out their time in elementary and move on to the magical world that is home junior high. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Definitely magical.
Yes. Best of all, Joni has an incredible give-back spirit. As I had mentioned prior, Joni grew up in the North Cedar neighborhood and attended elementary at the very same school she would finish her career. Joni takes a great amount of pride in giving back to the community that has helped shape her into the woman we see today. In addition to serving the North Cedar neighborhood through teaching, Joni also donates her time to the North Cedar Neighborhood Association. She helps create the best of both worlds in our part of town. She has been instrumental in exposing our students to the beauty of serving your community by planting trees on Lone Tree Road and helping create an outdoor classroom. In case you can't tell, Joni is incredibly passionate about North Cedar, and we are grateful for all the time and dedication that she has given to us. Thank you, Joni. At North Cedar, I don't want to scare the babies, some of you will do this quietly. When we gather together and we are excited about something, we always like to give two people two very crisp claps. Let's do 2 claps, please, for Joni. Okay. So now, wait, pause, you do your thing. I'm rolling with it. Okay, so now we get to talk about Kim. Kim Jackson has been an educator in Cedar Falls for almost 19 years. In September of 2004, Kim began her educational journey as a parent educator at Hanson Elementary. She joined the North Cedar family in December of 2011 to job share the head secretary position with Mary Cook. She was also the attendance secretary for 3 hours in the morning. During this time, Kim was able to work with 6 wonderful principals. I added the wonderful part for a little extra spice. Kim had a tough time pinpointing a favorite memory because her career has held so many. One memory Kim did highlight was her failed attempt at escaping building updates. Kim was honestly relieved to miss out on living through a big remodeling project when she journeyed to North Cedar from Hanson. Then North Cedar was like, surprise! Kim's luck in escaping the beautiful madness that is remodeling an entire school had run out. Kim said it was worth all the dust and temporary offices in the library when our beautiful building was all. North Cedar has been incredibly fortunate to have Kim as the face you see walk into our building. She truly operates with the service with a smile slogan. Those of you here today who serve in the office understand what I mean When I say you never know the situations that are going to land in the office. Notice how heads were nodding and eyes got real big from all the office staff around here. We've seen some things. Kim approaches each situation with a smiling grace. She knows that the heart of each wonderful or difficult situation is someone's precious baby. Kim is kind, patient, and loving to everyone she meets. She's a hard worker and an awesome teammate. Best of all, Kim has a great sense of humor. She loves to laugh and has $1 million smile. She's a good time gal who we appreciate so much. I mean, this little rascal right here even pulled the fire alarm this month. It was for a drill, but she still did it. In all seriousness, Kim is such an asset to North Cedar, who will be greatly missed. Thank you for your service, Kim. Let's give her 2 claps. Okay, so we get to round out with Stacy Perry. Stacy has been an educator for 14 years, with 11 of those years at North Cedar. Stacy began her educational career as another paraeducator at Hanson Elementary for 3 years. After that, Stacy joined our North Cedar family in 6th grade. After her first year at North Cedar, Stacy moved to 3rd grade, where she spent 8 years. Stacy ended her career in 2nd grade, spending the last 2 years there. Stacy's favorite memory at North Cedar was when she asked her uncle, a Korean war vet, to speak to her class for Veterans Day. The entire school lined the hallways at North Cedar with paper flowers, banners, flags, and letters to welcome him and his wife. Hopefully I can get through this without crying. Stacy had never seen him cry until that special day. Although this memory took place 8 years ago, her uncle still talks about it. His wife even created a memory book about the visit to North Cedar, including the letters, the posters, and other special gifts from the students and the staff. Stacy said she will never forget how our staff and students made him feel so loved and appreciated. This heartwarming story gives you a sneak peek into one of the best things about Stacy, her big heart. Stacy is one of the kindest and most soft-spoken people you will meet. Even on her hardest days, Stacy proceeds with grace and kindness. Stacy is a team player and a collaborator. Having moved from 6th grade to 3rd and then 2nd, Stacy happily rolled with any new curriculum or initiatives sent her way. She is also very creative, which oozes out into her classroom decor. Right when you walk into her room, you can feel the love and nurturing spirit welcoming you in. Stacy goes above and beyond to make sure her classroom feels healthy and loving for all the students and staff who are lucky enough to work with her. Stacy has been a beloved member of our North Cedar family for the last 11 years, and we are incredibly sad to see her go. We are forever grateful to the kindness, warmth, and positivity she brought to our building. Thank you, Stacy. Let's give her 2 claps. I have one more tiny paragraph. All 3 of these wonderful women share one very special role in common, being grandmothers. Joni, Stacy, and Kim value their families above all else, and I know this will be a big highlight in their retirement journey. I hope this precious time will be spent pouring your best self into those you love most, which is your family. Just like you did with the students and staff at North Cedar. Thank you for your service and dedication.
Up next is Andrew.
I get to talk about this humble servant right here, Deb Marchesani. She's been teaching for 26 years, 15 of them at St. Pat's and 11 of them in Cedar Falls. This past year has been at Orchard Hill, and I started my principal career at Southdale with her over 9 years ago. She's taught 7th, 8th, 4th, 2nd, and 1st. But her all-time favorite is 2nd grade. It seems fitting that she started her career working with Teresa and Rochelle back in St. Pat's and has now come full circle again this year with them again. Here are a few quotes from people who love you. I started volunteering in her room. Soon after that, I was with her as a volunteer for several years. I loved being in her classroom. She was organized to the hilt, and then she made sure that she had the attention of each and every student as she gave instructions, whether it be the entire class or a small group. Deb used her vocal skills most effectively. The students tuned in right away as she sang instructions or moved from activity to another. I loved visiting her room. One of the activities of my involvement was reading a book with her students, all sitting on the floor in front of us. I've spent many hours in Deb's classroom, and I would rate her as one of the most outstanding teachers whom I've observed. She works so hard at meeting the needs of each and every student. She's absolutely wonderful and an intelligent person. Her light will shine for her as she moves on. I know she will find her niche, light up lives, and spread her love wherever she goes. John. Deb is hands down the most detailed planner. She would take our weekly plans we all wrote together and rewrite them, even strip some parts out. When you had an unexpected sub-day, you could check Google Drive for her amazing, more detailed plans. Her room was always the neatest as well. No piles or books to move, so we all loved meeting in her room. She is one super organized, detailed lady. Not to mention one of the most caring colleagues, Jill Bergman. With a grateful heart, I'd like to wish Deb congratulations on a wonderful teaching career. I've had the privilege of knowing her as my child's teacher, my work wife, colleague, and best of all, my friend. Deb is an amazing human. She has the biggest heart. She is always there for anyone who needs a hand. Her impact will last far beyond her time in the classroom. I am grateful to have worked alongside her. As I told Deb, I know she's going to continue to leave her mark on the world in many new ways over the coming years. I'm excited for her next chapter to begin. Stacy. Some second graders would like you to know. She's really kind, helpful, and a bundle of joy. She walks super, super fast. She's the best, and she's infinitely awesome. I myself have had several heartfelt conversations with Deb about her decision to take a break from the classroom. I know in my heart she's not done teaching, not done serving, not done collaborating, helping, supporting, or just loving on people. When asking Deb about her most favorite memory in her teaching career after 26 years, she thought about it in her gentle manner and said, the days my boys were standing in my classroom. For my birthday, she absolutely approached it. I know your mom, you've seen her spend weekends, and long nights doing schoolwork, planning, grading, prepping. You saw how much she dedicated herself to her students and her school. You've shared your mom with us. And I hopefully now she can be more present, more relaxed, more able to do all the things your family loves to do. Play with Maddie. I just ask you to help her find joy and do all the things, farm time, harbor time, and all the things that she loves. Thank you, Deb. Karen Ryder started her career as a volunteer at Cedar Heights. She was the popcorn person. She helped in her child's classrooms and helped wherever she was needed. Then she applied to be a para at Orchard Hill in 1994. This year she will complete her 29th year of service at Orchard Hill. She was hired by Jerry Robinson. She worked 3 hours a day as a general para, then moved to 5 hours, then 7 hours until she became Secretary 1 in 2012 to 2014. In 2015, she started as Secretary 3 and was part of the committee to hire me. She may regret that. She's worked under 4 principals, Jerry Robinson, Steve Harding, Kim Cross, and now me. She is the most organized, proactive, intentional employee I have ever worked with. Karen was 3 to 4 months ahead of me on the schedule. I would be thinking about what was gonna happen at 10:30, and she'd want to sit down and talk to me about kindergarten roundup, and it was only Thanksgiving. I know downtown appreciated Karen Ryder. I was actually surprised they didn't recruit her from me. There was nothing more that would upset Karen when Carrie DeBerg or Jana would find a mistake on something that Karen had completed. She took pride in making sure every T was crossed and every I dotted. Karen often would be asking me if there were jobs she could do for me. She'd arrange my files just so in alphabetical order, only to find a few months later they're out of order. She's had so many students who have connected to Karen. Little Jimmy would stop by every day just to say hi to Mrs. Ryder. I know there was a special student who, I remember the day that during a raffle prize, picked her to silly string her. Karen has been our historian and keeper of all things. She saw us through many construction projects, the library edition, the odor issue, the West Wing edition, and now our new edition. Karen Ryder is my right arm, my brain, and my shield. Karen allowed me to focus on what was right ahead of me and deal with all my fires happening in the building. Meanwhile, she would make sure I held to appointments, evals, big rocks for the day and the week. She was my right arm. When I was held up in CPI calls or dealing with parent issues and kid needs, she'd make sure recesses were covered, answering questions from teachers, and so much more. And finally, she was my shield. She would keep calls from salespeople so that I wasn't on the phone with something I couldn't purchase anyway. She would listen to many, many angry parents. They were able to they couldn't get through to me, so she would let them let off steam, and so by the time I talked to them, it was so much easier. She would always look out for me, my well-being, my stress load, and would give me the intel. There were pockets of conflicts happening somewhere in the building. Everyone knows there are 2 positions that are crucial to a building. One is a custodian, the other is a secretary. We all know they are underpaid and do all the things. Karen, I can't thank you enough for all you've done for our building, our staff, our district, our kids, our families, and for me. I want your family to know she is extremely proud of you. Grady and Elise, she loves talking about you. That also goes for Megan and John and Jess every day. And Dwayne, thank you for being such a calm, listening spouse to her. I know you kept her from quitting many, many, many times. So Karen, I can't thank you enough for all your service and all you've done for all of us. I wish you a lot of great travels with Dwayne and your grandkids. Time to go get coffee, scrapbooking, and all the things that you deserve to do at this time. I wish you the very best.
Up next is Mr. Bill Baylor.
Well, I have the honor and privilege of talking about Lori Boyer and Lori Engel, both retiring from Pete. I thought early in the year they committed to at least one more year, but I knew as soon as I got one resignation, I was probably going to get another one. So I'm disappointed with that, but very happy for them. I want to talk about Lori Boyer first. I've known Lori as a friend and colleague first when I started teaching at Pete about 20 years ago. And she was one of those people who would go out of her way to make sure new teachers felt welcome and acclimated and help you out with anything needed, as well as helping students as well. So I've always appreciated that a great deal about her. Lori has taught at Pete for 36 years, which is a very long time. And she was also at Edward Colesburg for 1 year. So she's been teaching for 37 years. I asked her, what do you plan on doing in retirement? She has a long list of things, and I'm confident she will keep busy. She plans on playing golf, biking, walking, reading more, visiting children, grandchildren, and parents. We'll all be jealous of this. She's going to take a trip in the fall and a trip in the spring, which the rest of us don't get to do. For that. This one I thought was really clever and probably She said, "I plan on sleeping restfully on Sunday nights." And, then another thing I want to say about Lori is she is going to continue helping out with the school district. She's going to work for the school foundation. So, and they're lucky to have her working with them in that capacity. When I think about Lori, like if I was to describe her as a teacher, she is just truly professional that always is going to try to do better today than she did yesterday for kids. You know, if you've been teaching for 37 years total, it seems like it'd be easy to think, hey, I've got a pretty good handle on this. I know what I'm doing, but not Lori. She is working with vertical spaces, which doesn't mean much to any of you, but just rest assured it's something new she's trying to do, and it's a way to help kids learn better, and she's just gonna keep working to get better, and I know that will, for a couple more days, she'll continue to do that. So we're just really lucky to have Lori as long as we did at Pete Junior High, and she will be missed greatly, so congratulations to her. Next, I want to talk about Lori Engel. Lori's been at Pete for 17 years, working with kids with special needs, and she's taught a total of 27 years. She was also at Devonshire for 9 years, and then she was a year and a half at Shawnee Mission Northwest High School in Kansas, which I didn't know until you told me that. But her plans for the future are to babysit for a baby that's on the way due in July, and I think she's committed to 2 days a week to doing that, and I know she'll be a terrific grandma, and I know she's looking forward to that. She also has a daughter in Ankeny and a couple of granddaughters down there that she'll be spending more time with. She's going to be doing some traveling, and she's really going a lot of different directions. She's going up to Maine, down to Florida, Alaska, and maybe you can work Hawaii in there too. And then, like, if I think about Lori as a teacher, and anybody who knows her would agree with this, she is probably about as passionate a person as there is in advocating for kids, all kids, but especially kids with special needs and kids that need extra time and support. And you know, there's no limit to the amount of extra time or patience she will spend with kids to help them be successful. And our students have been just so fortunate to have her. And I'd also say that her impact doesn't just stop there. She's helped, I don't know how many of our new teachers that come through, and not just necessarily special ed teachers, but just everybody. She's been a mentor, and she's on our leadership team, and just impacted a lot of people in really positive ways, and we're gonna miss her greatly, but she does say she's gonna come back and sell. So thank you for all you've done.
So, Scott Blair, we did do this intentionally. We saved the Packers fans for last. Having known that, we would have changed the order, but again, that was done intentionally.
I'm honored that I get it back clean. One thing about bus drivers is that the vast majority of them have retired from something else before they come to drive the school bus, so I will be standing at the door with my card for all you retirees. I'm more than happy to discuss a rewarding career in driving a bus with Cedar Falls. I met Chuck Anderson when I started driving as a route driver, and I can say that I'm privileged to not only be a co-driver with him for about 3 years, and then also to supervise Chuck. Chuck's one of those people that he not only drove a route, but he stepped up for, and a lot of you people at the schools know this, stepped up to do band, he stepped up to do orchestra, he stepped up to do a lot of the field trips. In fact, for probably about 4 years, Chuck was our main driver. In fact, when I was looking to put this all together, I had this bright idea. I was going to go through the file, and it was actually our reports. I I was gonna come up with the mileage that you've done for all those trips. About 10 minutes into that, I said, yeah, no. But anyway, Chuck's that driver that I don't even have to worry about. He shows up, he does his job. He's always there, he never misses. The kids I know love him. I don't even have to ask because I sub his route quite a bit. In fact, I did tonight. You'll see his bus parked out here in the parking lot. I sub his route, and I'm that guy that the kids say, "When's Chuck gonna be back?" So, you know, I try not to take that to heart. He's been an excellent person, an excellent friend, and I'm just honored that I've known Chuck. And we are losing a huge asset to the district. Chuck, you want to come up? Thank you. Congratulations.
Holy cow, you can see why it's bittersweet. Again, the knowledge, passion, leadership in this room, the legacy, as I talked about before, will live on forever. Thank you, thank you, thank you, from the bottom of my heart, from our community, from our parents, from your colleagues, from the countless number of students that you've interacted with in all of your roles and all of the work that you've done. We can't thank you enough. As many people said, Cedar Falls is a wonderful place, and it's a wonderful place because of each of you and the impact that you've had on Cedar Falls and the district. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you giving us the opportunity to celebrate each one of you. There are cupcakes and a lot of food in the back. Please grab some. There seems to be a lot of 2- and 3-year-olds that need a lot of sugar. So thank you and congratulations.